My money right now is on the West.
Oh yeah.
I think we're gonna miss the bitterness.
We still got a ways to go on this beer.
Well, let's take a break here. Let's finish up this beer and let's come back and let's hash this out because East versus West here. What is it? Dissolver is trying to hash this out. This is a war to be figured out who the winners are.
That sounds great.
All right, Jeff. Now that we've had our beer for the day, I got a few questions I would like to ask you and dive into them as much as you want. Some of them are going to be pretty quick and easy to answer, and some of them might have a little more thought. So interesting to see. Obviously, this is an outdoor podcast. We do outdoor stuff. We like camping. We're hiking. We're fishing. We're hunting. And so I'm going to start off with something really simple for you, but it's a loaded question at the same time. Number one is,
cocked and loaded.
Yeah. Number one is, why do you like to hike? Why do you hike?
Why do I hike? And that's the loaded question?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I figured you would have went for the gut on that one. But no, man, why do I like to hike? I like to hike. I just love being outside. I love walking on dirt, put my boots on, and just going through the woods. I think it brings back when I was younger and like probably elementary school and whatnot. I would always be in the woods, just moving around, walking around, just exploring, my parents' property, which isn't even that big. I mean, it was like, I think their first property was maybe 4 acres, and then they moved up to 7. And I was just always going wherever I wanted to go and exploring, and I guess making my own adventures in my head, and I guess making my own fantasy world in a way. I mean, if you want to say that, I just love like the creatures that were out there. Watching the squirrels move from tree to tree, and all the birds that were just flying around. And I don't know, man. It just felt like home to me. And I guess that's why I hike now, is I love like hiking now. Being older, you get to go obviously more places because you can drive, but I like going from point A to point B in a way. Like, you're hiking up this mountain to just see this view, and you're only going to be at this view for maybe like a couple hours. But once you get you go, like most of the views, you go uphill, you climb a mountain to get there for miles, and you get there and it's like, you're kind of, you might be exhausted, you might be feeling pretty good. It just depends on your athletic ability at that time. But getting to that point and sitting there and looking over the overlook, or looking at that waterfall that you had to hike, 6 whatever miles to get there. It's just, I don't know, for me, it's surreal. It's like, nobody can get to this location unless you actually walk or hike. I mean, walking is hiking, but nobody can get there except unless you do it by foot. That to me is unique in a way. I'm glad we can still be able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just us driving somewhere and stopping and then, hey, there's a waterfall. That's not, it's fun, but I'd rather walk to get there than to drive. And to me, that's hiking. You can get to places that you can't get to in a car, and that's what I enjoy. And then it's just nature too, and it's places that people don't even see. And you got a lot of people who don't even adventure. They're just stay in the city. That's fine if they want to do that. Hey, more power to them. But to me, going out there to a place that you can only get to by walking is awesome, and I love it.
Yeah, just I think you hit on something that I think touches a lot of people who do, hiking and camping. It's actually, there's something magical about going to a place that very few people really see. I mean, you can go to Times Square and thousands and millions and millions of millions of people have walked through those same streets in New York City, and
yeah,
you're in your capital of your state. But there's just very few that go down the Appalachian Trail or go hiking in Montana to this very remote mountain in Yellowstone. I mean, it's just you realize how small you can be in this world. And oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city makes you feel
Yeah,
like, everybody's enjoying the same air as you are. But when you get to do what you said and you get out there by yourself and you look at that waterfall or if you ever looked at that mountain, it's just you and very few other people that have done it. And now it still may be hundreds, but
exactly.
sometimes there's places that, just one or two people have ever seen. So that is a really cool thing. I think that's very relatable to most people that do this.
And
At least it is for me.
I've never seen Times Square event in New York City. So
Well, you're one of the few. I've actually been there, and it's nice in its own way. Like you
that's
said,
a place. That's a place I don't really care to go to, but I think I would miss out if I don't go to.
I tell you, it's one thing I always want. I'd go back, so I'll join in with you.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Well,
go
maybe
again.
you'll be my tour guide then.
There you go. I'll do it. Well, good. That's a good first start to the question and answer. So number two is, so we talked about, why you like to hike and kind of what caused you to kind of continue it now as an adult from a kid. Now the question is, do you like to hike by yourself or do you like someone else there with you? So are you more of a solo person? Is it more of or is it more of a social, do you like somebody there with you? Do you like a group with you? How many is too many people? What's your thoughts on that?
No, I've done multiple hikes by myself and I've done multiple hikes with people. I think it's 50-50. I think it's whatever mood I'm in at the time, mainly because, where I live now, I can just go out of my house and go on a walking trail and see the river and just sit out there and just be me and kind of explore and do what I want to do. And I don't know, just get in with nature and just kind of, live it. I don't know, there's other words you can probably use, but, I'm not as far as my brother. So my vocabulary isn't all there. But that's what I like about hiking by myself is that I can just go out there and be me. Like I can think and not have anybody else bothering me. I just get the, nature there with birds chirping and squirrels moving around. I mean, last time I went hiking by myself, I just saw an owl just fly down, the creek bed, and he's just doing what he was doing or she doing, and it was just beautiful. And I just stopped and watched, and that's what I loved about it. You can't really do that with people too. It's like, if you see something you want to just stay there and observe, you can't do that because most of the time you want to stay with the group. So you're going to do what the group wants to do. Even sometimes they want to stay with you. I mean, I've done long hikes by myself and then I've done long hikes with people. The longer the hike, it's usually better to have with people because then you don't get in that mindset of just, walking for nothing. You get people with you that you can talk to, that you can have conversations with, and deep conversations or short conversations, whatever. I think it's 50-50 for me, man. Like when I hike by myself, I like to get lost in my own mind. And I think that brings me back to it. Like it brings me down to appreciate everything that I have. If I'm walking with people, it's to socialize, and I like to socialize and I like to be with people. So that's a bonus too. But I don't know. I think sometimes I would probably, instead of going that 50-50 route, I think it's probably about, 60-40 hiking by myself, just so I can get lost out there and be with my own thoughts and just to help me build in the way to be who I want to be.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. Yeah, it is something nice about, like, you kind of picked on that point. Something about being by yourself gets you a chance to kind of actually process through everything that's happening and kind of calms you down a bit and makes you appreciate really what you have. It's interesting how being removed from just life and stress and whatever is going through your life at the time, being removed from that helps you kind of overcome it or conquer any challenge you have. It is an interesting twist. So next question here, just going into an outdoors kind of question. This is a really simple one, but if you want to explain why you prefer one or the other, let me know. But would you rather be fishing or would you rather go hunting?
Well, probably say fishing. I think I've grown up more of a fisherman. Fish to me, it's just, I guess it goes along with hiking, just being out there in nature. You just seeing stuff, but that's along with hunting too, because you're just waiting for the deer, or I mean, you're waiting for whatever animal to come by. Let me rephrase that. There's a lot of different types of hunting. So a lot of the hunting I do is deer hunting. So you're always just sitting there in that one spot and waiting for the deer to walk by. So with fishing, you can move different spots. So you can be a little more active, and I mean, you can be as loud as you want and play music and chill and, and observe nature. But I think fishing I like it a little bit more too. I mean, you're on the water. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that don't like water, but the thing is about it as well is like, you can be fishing and swimming at the same time, as long as the weather's running nice. So, I mean, that's always a plus.
Yeah.
When you're fishing, you never know because when you're deer hunting, you're looking for a deer, you're going to shoot deer. Well, when you're fishing and you reel up that whatever is on the end of that line, I mean, it can be anything. It can be turtle, snake, fish, or, gar. I mean, what kind of,
how many snakes?
Anything. You don't know what it is. So it's always a surprise.
Well, I got to know, how many snakes have you caught your years of fishing?
On a hook? None.
Okay. Well,
I've seen a bunch. But the
fact is,
I've seen a bunch when I've been fishing. But
you make a very valid point, though. It's still a possibility. I mean, it could happen. It just hasn't happened to you yet. Someone else. But that's very relatable.
I've seen it on video.
That is also, I think you're saying stuff that obviously relates to the community of outdoors kind of enthusiasts out in hiking, hunting, fishing, whatever. And that is something that I liked about saltwater fishing so much too. It's because there's so many times you can catch such a variety of species, and there's an excitement. If I'm fishing for spot tail, I might have I have an opportunity to catch a toadfish or a, trout or something. I mean, it's kind of exciting to see what it is. I mean, a shark. We've gone out there to fish for spot tail, just hooked onto this massive shark. I mean, it's just completely not what was expected. Creates a great story.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, if you're hunting a deer comes out, that's all you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, you can see any other animal that comes out, raccoons, squirrels, turkeys, you see whatever. But I mean, you're looking for that deer. That's what you're going to get. It's not like you have a lion out there with bait. All right, deer, bite it.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I mean, fishing is like anything can get on the end of that hook.
And at the end, it is. And at the end of the day, you're fighting.
A damn tire, and that's it.
I've caught a fishing pole. I've actually caught a fishing pole. So you're right. It could be a tire. Actually, my wife caught 2 fish at once, a couple times, and so that was kind of cool too. They weren't really great fish, but that was a really neat experience nonetheless. So going on with fishing, it kind of led into a question I did have. What is the biggest fish you ever caught? Tell us a story about that. What were you fishing for? Were you fishing for it? Was it a different species you were aiming for? Tell us where you were and all that stuff.
The biggest fish I ever caught was a 34-inch sea bass. And it was out of the canal in New Hampshire. can't remember the name of the canal, but it's the only canal or inlet that goes in New Hampshire and saltwater. And we were there. It was my dad and his best friend Neil. Neil has the boat because I live in South Carolina. My dad's from New Hampshire, and his best friend still lives up there, which is actually his best man at his wedding. So it's kind of cool. But so we went up there for family vacation, and we always see Neil. We went to these, I guess, so we're on this boat. We go past, we go through the inlet or canal to begin with to go out to where these generators or something underneath the water, in the water, in the salt water. I guess the generators are some kind of electrical units or whatever they are. And we go out there to get bait fish. So he's got these long rigs with 6 hooks on them with shiny little things on there, and all you do is jig with them and you catch the bait fish. I can't remember what bait fish we were going for, but so we didn't catch any because the swells were so much going so big that we couldn't actually jig properly or something like that. And then because the boat was moving too much, that we were actually getting hooked on the generator and ripping our lines. So we're trying to get live bait, but luckily Neil had some frozen bait. So he's like, well, let's go back and just see what we can do. So we went back to the canal, and we're just kind of drifting. We put the frozen bait out and just throw our lines out and let the current go up, out into the ocean with it, and we kind of drift with it.